Welcome to Book Banter with me, your host, Dianne Burckhardt. I hope you will join me every Wednesday as we explore all things to do with, well, books. Let's get on with our show today. Hello, my happy people. Today is November 5th, 2025, and of course, we've got another fantastic author for you. Now, today's author I had wanted to have in with our hauntingly good reads authors in October, but there were only so many weeks that I could fill up, so we have one bonus author spilling over for you. Now, I'm not going to give too much away, but we had a wonderful conversation, and you are going to love this. If you are into magical realism and fantasy, you're going to love this author. So sit back and relax, and we'll get right to it in just a moment after I remind you to stick around to the very end because we've got more announcements coming. So, without further ado, please welcome to Book Banter with Dianne Burckhardt, Heather Ogden. The way that I like to start these out is just to have my guests tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Heather Ogden. I am currently the author of The Lies We Fear. Just graduated college in December 2024, so I'm super excited. This is my first ever book.
I was going to say, from your educational background, I can tell that this was probably something that you had in mind from the beginning, that you wanted to be an author.
Somewhat. So I actually went to college for film and media. I wanted to be a screenwriter. And then I kind of recognized how difficult it was to break into that world. And I went, why not let the directors come to me?
Oh, nice. That's a good plan.
Yes.
You did take some classes in creative writing. Was that not intentional for doing books, or did you have a shift in there at some point?
Originally, I majored in creative writing because I always wanted to do scripts and writing. I didn't necessarily want to direct and everything because I have sometimes a hard time talking to people. So I majored in creative writing and had my minor. At the time, my alma mater, U of H, the writing program wasn't large enough to be its own major. You had to have a minor along with it. So I had minored in film and media studies and then switched to marketing when I decided I was going to be an author because I figured marketing would help me market my book.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Marketing can come in handy in so many things. And I don't think a lot of people really realize how beneficial that education actually is.
Yeah, I learned so many things through my marketing class. I was shocked.
You are a self-described introvert, and you also do remote work. Do you find that that sort of isolation finds itself into your storytelling?
Yes. So a lot of the times when I write, I usually write about individuals with complex family dynamics, mainly because that's what usually draws people in, but also isolation, partly because it's a heart of my own.
What was it that actually drew you to using science fiction and fantasy as a method for doing your storytelling?
I have always loved fantasy. I, from a young age, loved stories and wanted to sort of escape from the world into a fantastical reality that wasn't ours. And so when I found out that I could write in that, it was the perfect opportunity for me.
What is it about magical realism that appeals to you?
It's the idea that something could be slightly off in our world, that it's almost exactly parallel to how we live, but just slightly off, and that possibility could be real.
Your book, The Betrayal, The Lies We Fear, that's listed as book 1. So do you already have an idea of how many books you want to have in this series?
Yes. So originally, and in unfortunately, the back of the book and the about the author, I say it's a 3-book series. Unfortunately, as I was writing what was supposed to be the second book, I had gotten to about 80,000 words, and I was only a quarter of the way done.
Oh, well.
So I made the hard decision to decide to split book 2 into 2 books. So it'll be a total of a 4-book series.
Are you a hard plotter, or are you more a pantser, or kind of in between?
I am a hard plotter when it comes to books, mainly because I know when I'm not writing just for fun, that I need to have a beginning, middle, and end. Because if I don't, it won't end. And that's not good story-wise if there is no ending. So I usually form an outline to have a beginning, middle, and end so I can understand where the story goes. Now, what happens kind of in the middle in between, I don't really plan.
Mm-hmm. Was it really disruptive to your process when you were halfway through book 2 and you realized, oh no, this is going to have to be 2 books in its own?
Yes, absolutely. So for the Lives We Fear series, I made 2 separate outlines. I made one giant one for the entire series that went over what happens just overall, and then assigned what would happen to book 1, what would happen to book 2, what would happen in book 3. And then I went in individually and said, okay, here's what's specifically going to happen in book 1. Here's what's specifically going to happen in 2 and 3. I struggled for weeks going, where do I split this? How do I do this? Because I have a specific ending that I know individuals are not going to like for book 3, but I want it to end there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hard for me to come to that compromising decision of going, okay, where is it okay for book 2 to end to make the ending for book 3 hit even harder?
Whenever you're working so hard on a series like this and you have it all planned out in your mind, whenever you're working on it, do you just strictly focus on this, or is your brain, like so many of ours, you're still coming up with other story ideas? It's like, oh, this would also be a good series, or that one would be a good series too. How hard is it for you to stay focused on what you're currently working on?
Oh, insanely hard. I was diagnosed with ADHD, so focus for me is even harder than everybody else. I have jumped from thing to thing, and in fact, The Lies We Fear was a distraction of a distraction.
I so get that. I am ADHD too, so it's like that makes total sense to me. And I'm really kind of surprised how many authors are. It seems to be like a basic function for many of us.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, for some research that I've done, because usually when I was in schools and we had to do research papers, I always just chose ADHD because it's something that I personally cope and struggle with. And a lot of individuals with ADHD fall on the creative side.
Yeah. Do you love doing the research for your books? Almost more than
Yes.
writing them?
I just love doing the research to find new things. I usually mainly dive into the psychological aspect of it. My fiance, thankfully, is more in the science and technology aspect of it. So I usually go to him
Yeah.
when I have questions about how things work, because just with so much on the internet, it can be hard to sort through.
Your book, The Betrayal, and your whole series, The Lies We Fear, what was it that actually inspired this particular story for you?
So the betrayal is actually based off of a dream that I had. I remember I was still in high school. We had just finished reading George Orwell 1984.
Oh, yeah. Good book.
And I had a really weird dream. And I don't remember what exactly happened in the dream, but the only thing that stuck with me was the contents that is The Lies We Fear, The Betrayal.
That's really interesting. Was it a reoccurring dream or just a one-time thing?
No, just a one-time thing that would make a really good story. And I kind of wrote down the general idea and went, I'll write that later because I had school in the morning. So I couldn't start.
That's so much more impressive, though, that it had so much of an impression on you just from having that dream once.
Oh, yeah. I take impressions from anything and everything, from the cats that run around the house to people outside to movies and TVs to other books.
Now, I know I'm going to say this wrong. How do you say your main character's name?
Angelette Arabella.
Angelette. Okay, because I would have not said that right. So now, Angelette Arabella's story is full of secrets and manipulation and power struggles. Where did those themes particularly come from?
The themes that came about surrounding Angelette really came from the dynamic that she has between her and her father, Valerius. I really dove into the research of wondering how a relationship, how a person, how specifically a young girl would turn out with such a father, especially considering that my father is nowhere near like Valerius at all. We have a good relationship, so I had to write from a place that I was unfamiliar with.
How hard is that to do? How hard is that for you to put yourself in a position like that that you do not have any personal experience with?
For me, I don't think it's that difficult. I'm a very empathetic person. I've been told I feel with a lot of empathy. I can very easily place myself in other people's shoes just listening to a situation. And I think that's also because of how creative and imaginative I am. I can see myself and see the reactions and see what happens. So when I wrote this, I was almost imagining myself as Angelette. And what would I do if my dad was the ruler of a country who lied about magic and about family and about history? How would I react and what would be my moves to possibly overthrowing him?
Were there any scenes in this that were emotionally difficult for you to write?
Oh, emotionally difficult. I think that would have to be, it was in the middle of the book. It was where Angelette watches Hunter run away from the library. That scene was gut-wrenching for me to write. I had to stop a few times actually because I personally was crying so hard. I couldn't see the screen.
I think that's fantastic though, because whenever you feel that much of a connection when you're writing it, a lot of times I think that really carries over when people read those scenes too.
Oh, yes, that is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire book.
Is there an overall message or moral that you kind of hope that readers take away from this?
The message that I hope that people would receive after reading The Betrayal is that there are always three sides to every story. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth.
Mm-hmm. What's the reaction that you're hoping that people are going to have as they're reading this? Do you think it's going to have the same kind of emotional impact as it did as you were writing it?
I hope that people want to get genuine entertainment. That's what I strive for when I write. I want people to be interested and not feel like that there is some sort of heavy message being pushed. You're there to read, you're there to entertain, you're there to escape from the world. And if I can get that across, to be able to be excited to read the next book or the next series and eventually maybe watch the movies or watch the TV shows.
If these do get optioned for a movie, do you hope to write the screenplay too?
Oh, that's my plan. I plan on having the full screenplay being written and being a co-author.
Whenever you're creating your worlds, what is your starting point? I mean, do you try and start from just our world, our reality, and then build on that? Or do you just create everything from the beginning?
My starting point would be asking myself, what is the big issue here? What is the problem? What is the situation that the supposed main character would be facing or would have to overcome? So for the betrayal, the main problem is Valerius's rule. He is a tyrant, he is a dictator, authoritarian leader. He needs to be stopped. And then after that, it unravels into, okay, what is the main character? Who are side characters? What do I want their relationships to be? How do I want their personalities to form? And once I figure out personality-wise is when I can actually figure out the story. Because if Angelette was not as calculating or cool-headed as she is, the events could unravel extremely differently.
Whenever you're creating your characters, do you ever pick people from like TVs or movies or friends that you know and kind of imagine that person as the character, or are you just creating everybody from scratch? Because I know for me, I usually think about somebody that I know in my life and imagine that person as that character because there's something about them that connects for me. And it just makes it easier for me to describe them whenever I'm writing. How does it work for you?
So it's a little bit of both for me. I like to take from real life examples of real people and actors, but I don't like to base the full character off of them. I like to take little bits and pieces, either from myself or from other people and kind of place them into the characters to give them that sense of realism.
How much of you is in this book?
I definitely put my heart and soul into Angelette.
Do you think if you do get an option to turn this into a movie, you would want somebody who looks like you to be her?
No. I unfortunately do not have black hair. I have very dirty blonde hair. It's almost brown. I would not want them to, because I have a specific image of kind of how I envisioned Angelette, and I'd want the right person for that.
Have you thought about actors and actresses that you would want to play the parts yet?
A little, not not a lot. I've been mainly focused on the Betrayal and the second book.
I'm sure that's one of those things that it's like fun to think about every once in a while, but since you're still in the midst of creating this whole series, you're wanting to focus more on writing the rest of it than something like that.
Yes.
What do you think is the hardest part for you in your writing process?
I'd have to say that the hardest part is actually starting to write.
Yeah.
I get that general, like, I don't know if it's writer's anxiety or what it is, but I have this really cool idea, really cool characters. I've got the outline, and I can't start the first paragraph because I don't know where to start.
I know we've kind of been talking sort of around the synopsis of your book. Why don't you go ahead and just tell us about The Betrayal?
The Betrayal is about a young girl, Angelette Arabella. I mean, she finds out that her father, who's the dictator and leader of the country, is hiding stuff and things, history, magic, from her family, and the entire world. Unfortunately, she realizes that in the midst of it, what he's doing is morally incorrect. So she's got to decide if she wants to stand with family loyalty and work beside him, or if she wants to tear him down and build a new leadership.
Without giving away too many spoilers, where do you hope this story extends through the rest of the series?
I hope the story grows. Overall, I mean, I've already planned. Second book is fully written. Third book is 90% done. So the story itself is mostly written. But I can also see little side branches of the Lies We Fear series and universe kind of branching off into different little sub-stories, prequels. I can see me going into Valerius's backstory and how he was raised and how he got to where he was by the beginning of the book. So there's a lot of room and growth for opportunity to continue the series.
When you were going through the process of writing this, was there anything that you really felt that you learned about yourself during this?
I think the biggest thing that I learned was how much I don't suck at descriptions. Having my origin in screenwriting, I am very good at dialogue. I can make conversations flow naturally between characters, and those transitions flow smoothly. However, I ended up struggling when I transitioned to writing novels was descriptions. I always thought, especially in my college years, that my descriptions were subpar. They just weren't that good. They were average. And then when this book got accepted, I went, okay, maybe my descriptions aren't all that bad. They're not too cheesy or cringy or whatever.
How long did it actually take you to get a book deal with this?
So I had reached out to the founder of Morgan James, David Hancock, and we had chatted, and I was just trying to get advice. I gave him 4 chapters of the book, had 6 chapters written. He read over it, and again, I was just asking for advice, seeing if it was submission-ready material, because then I could submit it. And he had emailed me back and said, Heather, this is amazing. I'm going to submit this to the board on your behalf.
Oh, wow.
And I was so shocked. I probably stood there for about 20 minutes to an hour. I can't remember the time, just staring at that email before I got into a writing phase and proceeded to write the rest of the book within the week.
Wow, that's amazing.
I had to unfortunately put everything else aside because I was so focused knowing if I got rejected, I wasn't going to write again for a while.
That's incredible. People dream about having something like that happen to them for a first book. I've spoken to so many authors that, they're talking about their first book was, a great success, but it took them 20 years to get it from writing it to being published. And for you, that's pretty much being thunderstruck. That does not happen very often.
Yeah, I was shocked. And every time I tried to disillusion myself, I go and I look at the statistics again. And I just realized how special my circumstances are.
That has to really give you a lot of validation as far as your abilities.
Oh, yes, especially since I am an extremely young adult, 23, just out of college. I should be figuring out my place in the world, pseudo entry-level job, not full published author, but here I am and I'm making it work because this is what I want to do for a living.
Being an introvert, how hard is it for you to put yourself out there to do the marketing for this?
Difficult. It is extremely difficult. I get so overwhelmed and I struggle, and I most of the time don't know what to say because I don't want it to seem almost too needy when I'm reaching out to talk to people. So I fortunately was able to hire a PR team to help me with that. And they've been so amazing. And I'm so grateful to PR by the Book because they have helped me tremendously.
Oh, yeah. I love PR by the Book. I get a lot of authors from them. I was just talking to the author that I spoke to on Tuesday about them, too, because she's also with them. Do you ever feel that the fact that you work remotely and you're a writer, you're spending a lot of time working alone, does that kind of isolation transfer into some of your characters?
Yes. A lot of my characters deal with isolation, and Angelette is almost the perfect example of this. I mean, her brothers ran away.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother was missing, and she's left with only but her father, who is very much isolates her because he claims her as special to be his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things that she struggles with is when she meets Hunter, whether or not she wants to break out of her isolation and make a friend, save someone out of the goodness and kindness of her heart.
Have you gotten much feedback from readers yet?
I have gotten a bit, and from what I can tell, it's overall positive. They're very excited. It is my debut book, so there's a lot of ups and downs. It's very short, it's quick, fast-paced. But from what I can tell, a lot of people are excited about second book and can't wait for it to come out.
That's always really a good feeling whenever people are waiting for the next installment.
Yes, and unfortunately, as much as I, as a reader, and I know everyone else's readers, hate cliffhangers, they are the best way to end series.
I personally love cliffhangers. My first series that I wrote was actually a cliffhanger serial, which every single one of the books in the serial ended in a cliffhanger. But yeah, you get a lot of complaints from people. It's like, why? It's like, because that's how we get you to buy the next book.
Because if it's not interesting enough to end and make you want to pick up the second book, why would you pick up the second book?
Exactly. If everything is all wrapped up all nice and neatly in the first book, there's nothing to tell you in the second one. It would just be a whole different story.
Absolutely.
So now seems like the perfect time to do our 5 quick questions that never turn out to be quick, but I'm just really nosy and love asking them. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't sound that sure. They're not bad, I promise. Question 1. If you won $10,000, what would you do with that money?
$10,000. First off, I probably would pay off my student loans and would honestly pay back everyone who's helped me. My parents and my fiance have been super supportive, both emotionally and financially.
Mm-hmm.
So I am super grateful to them. So my first instinct would be to not only get myself out of the hole, but to help towards them as well.
That's a very nice thing to do. So question 2. Do you like theme parks?
Yes, I absolutely love them. We try to go as frequently as we can, but being where we are, there's not really one extremely close by.
Mm-hmm.
And with being, unfortunately, on a just out of college student budget, it's a little difficult to afford the tickets sometimes.
Yeah, they are expensive. Which one is your favorite one?
Um, I mean, there's obviously Disney World.
Yeah.
I love Disney World.
See, Disney's great, but I have to admit, Universal Studios is still my favorite. But I'm a huge Universal Studios monster movie fan. So that one always kind of warns out for me.
Yeah, I've been waiting because I've seen that Universal's opened up a new theme park.
Oh,
What is it? Epic Universe. It just opened in May. And so I'm waiting to go to that one.
I have not heard of that. I'll have to look that up when we're done. Question 3. What is your most hated chore and why?
My most hated chore. Oof.
And this doesn't have to be like around the house. It can be with work too.
I'd probably be around the house because the only thing that's with my work is the tedious tasks.
Yeah.
Probably washing dishes. I really struggle, like physically washing dishes, not putting them in the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have a very bad gag reflex.
Mm-hmm.
So washing dishes with the food just makes me throw up sometimes. So it's really difficult and I hate doing it. Thankfully, my fiance is super supportive and doesn't make me do it all the time.
It's always nice when you have a partner who's willing to pick up the things that you don't want to do. Because I hate to dust. I would rather do anything than dust. And my husband's fine with doing this. It's like, yay, I'll vacuum, you go dust. Question 4. Do you believe that magic actually exists in our world?
Unfortunately, I have to say no. I wish it were true, but I do believe that if magic would have existed, we would have discovered it long ago. Science runs too deeply through our world.
But what if the magic is so good that it's able to shield from the regular world?
Then we probably should be asking why it's so shielded if it's so difficult to find. Maybe it's not something we're meant to have.
Oh, I wouldn't trust any of us on this planet with magic. There's no way.
No, absolutely not.
So our last question, we've been asking everybody the same question all year long because we're creating a database to put in our year-end book buying guide of recommendations from authors to readers for books that they should check out. So whenever somebody asks you for a book recommendation, who is the first author that you think of?
Oh, first author that I think of. So I have always loved the Michael Vey series by Richard Paul Evans. And that's loosely not exactly based off of the Betrayal, but the POV switching is where I got that. And so I always recommend like the Michael Vey series and books by Richard Paul Evans.
Is there a specific title that you can think of?
Honestly, it'd probably be the first book, The Prisoner of Cell 25. It is honestly a great start to the series.
So now let's go ahead and remind everybody who you are and where they can find your work.
So I am Heather Ogden, author of The Lies We Fear, and you can find me at thelieswefear.com or at any of my social medias. So on Facebook, I'm just Heather Ogden, and on Instagram, I am Writer Central 24.
And I do think that we should point out too that if they find the ballerina, that is not you.
Yes, I am not a ballerina. I cannot dance to save my life.
Whenever I was looking up information on you, I kept hitting this websites for a ballerina with the same name. And it was just like, okay, why do I keep getting this?
Yes, no, not a ballerina.
I did find that if you put in your name and the Betrayal, it would pull up all of your information. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me for today. This has been absolutely fantastic. And I really hope that people go and check out your book and your website so that they can keep track of everything that you have coming out in the future.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this.
I always love it whenever somebody who's an introvert says that they enjoyed having an interview because I know that that is something that really is very hard for a lot of people to do, is to put themselves out there in such a public place like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm slowly getting better with time and effort.
if you end up being really successful with all these books, you're probably going to have to do a lot more of these.
That is honestly my biggest fear.
But you're really good at it. You did a fantastic job. So I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Thank you.
So there you have it, folks. My interview with the incredible debut author, Heather Ogden. Can you imagine having that kind of success right out of the gate, right after graduating college, and the first book that you wrote gets picked up? I think she's definitely going to be an author to watch. So go to her website, join her mailing list, follow her social media, because I have a feeling there's going to be some great things coming from her in the future. Now, next week, we're going to be talking with author Candace McPhee about her book, Finding Color, which is part of her The Back in a Year series, all about a hilarious and messy backpacking adventure that she had in the 90s. This first book, Finding Color, was the silver winner in the 2024 Global Book Awards in the Humor and Satire category. And we get into this book and all of the rest of her work in her interview next week. As for things going on with Burckhardt Books and Book Banter Productions, I am diligently working on this year's holiday book buying guide for Book Banter magazine. It's coming along pretty well, and we have got some fantastic things in there for you. We, of course, have every author that we have spoken to this season, plus the book recommendations that we have gotten from each author this year. We also have our schedule for our hiatus shows. We have a fun page with the seek and find, and just so much more. We're really trying to pack as much as we possibly can into this issue, and if you join our mailing list at burkhartbooks.com, you'll be among the first to know when this issue is available on our website. We're also hard at work on our first romance book coming from D.S. Stevens. We hope to have this one all ready to go so that we can publish it in time for next season's Love Fest. Keep watching everything at burkhartbooks.com to find out more. And if you've been following along with my broken leg saga, I have actually been released from being on bed rest finally after 3 months. I was able to take the large metal brace off my leg and toss the crutches. However, I'm still finding it quite the chore to walk around now. After being in bed for 3 months, my leg really doesn't want to start working again, so I had to pull out my cane again, and I'm taking it very slowly. I'm really shocked at how quickly I become exhausted, but I have everything set up here in my own little makeshift studio in the bed. So I'm able to keep up with everything going forward with Burckhardt Books and Book Banter Productions, which is fantastic because we have got so much coming. I'm working on an app so that in the future, whenever we have new authors coming on our show, and you want to find out what books they write, you can go into our app and find all of their information, find out who they are, where their books are sold, and what titles are available. I also am working on a Jumpstart class of video classes for new authors who don't really know how to do their own marketing. Luckily, my friends and I, who I went to college with, we're all journalism majors. We know how to write press releases. We know how to write one-sheets. We know how to give good interviews. And we're going to put together a Jumpstart class to help all of you do that better for your own work. Well, I think that's enough for today, folks. I am so exhausted. I actually did manage to go outside today and take the dog for a very short walk. I didn't even get past the end of the house, but that's more than I've done in the last 3 months, so I'm taking it as a win. And my dog was just happy to go outside, so it's a win-win. But I think that's enough for today, and don't forget to come back next week and every Wednesday, because we have something new for you every week. So you know what time it is, folks? It's time for you all to go forth and be really happy.